Sleep Pod Grader.
What's up, my uh, podcast family? It's been a minute and going through a little something, but I'm back and I got my first guest as my daughter, Nika, and I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, what's going on with
Oh,
you.
of course. Hi, everyone. I'm Nika. Comes from Andronika, but obviously Nika's much easier. So a little about myself. I have the pleasure of being the daughter of Tommy here. um, oops, you said don't do that. Sorry. Born in Tampa, you said just a little bit about what I'm doing. I have first. Ooh. Okay. So I guess it was just a little bit about me, right?
Yeah.
You said born and raised in Tampa, went to USF, love the city and everything. Right now, I have decided to, branch out, start my own business, actually in the podcast world and all that great things. Yeah, and I'm just really glad to be here and having this opportunity to
Hang out with.
bond with my father and something that he has learned to really love. So.
That's great. I know it's been a minute. My podcast is based on mental health, and I think my last podcast I talked about how it affected my family, how it affected my loved ones, and stuff like that. But before I get into that, I'm gonna tell y'all what I've been going through a little bit. Why I didn't do this podcast for a while. I haven't podcast for a while. Uh, I was going through a lot. I started this podcast to build up my self confidence. It didn't work. I think I mentioned that before on a previous podcast. Um, Lately, the last I'll say month and a half, the anxiety, what I'm going through, is really taking a toll on my mind and how I think. So what I came up with this thing about I need to take away stress. What I think stresses me out. And one thing stresses me out is Facebook. So guess what? I don't go on Facebook no more. With all this racism, with all this stuff going on, you got people out there talk and hide behind social media. And it burns me up. So I got off Facebook for a while. One Something else I did is I've been on my job going 33 and a half years. And one thing my therapist told me is say, I look for validation. I look for approval from certain people. And and that's what I was doing. I was busting my ass looking so I could get approval from my manager, my supervisor, whoever it was, so they could come by and pat me on the shoulder and say, good job. Like I said, I've been on my job 33 years. I don't need validation. I don't. I don't need nothing from them. So I came up to my solution. And if somebody from my job gonna listen to this is what it's gonna be. I don't give a shit about my job no more. I'm gonna go to work, do my job, and I'm gonna bring my ass home. And that's gonna stress. That's gonna take. I know it's gonna take stress out of me because I feel like I'm going in and I'm doing more than I'm supposed to do, and that's what they expect me to do. Is go in there and do what Tommy will take care of Tommy. Now Tommy ain't taking care of shit no more. It's all about me, and that's how I'm approach my life. I'm I'm be stress free. My daughter's sitting there. I got another daughter in Tallahassee. Got a wife at home. Tommy Grill first. Just letting
Yeah.
y'all know. Tommy Grill gonna be first, and that's the only way that I could bring this down. Cause but a lot of people don't. Well, not a lot of people. What y'all don't know, and I don't want you to get freaked out. I'm doing this podcast and I'm telling you all this stuff that you don't know. It really affects me because you know, a later don't know. Your mama don't know how much times I wake up at night and cry. How many times I cry on the way to work. How many times I cry at work. How many times I feel bad about myself. How I feel like I'm not good enough for this. I'm not good enough for that. I have to find a way to put me 1st. You know, and that's that's what it's gonna be. That's what it's gonna be. I'm gonna have to. I gotta take care of me. I'm still young. I'm still vibrant. But now the way I feel sometimes, I feel comfortable just sitting at home, and that's not me.
I think what really is too is we live in a society where like if you put yourself first, you are deemed like you are labeled selfish. Right? Like if someone's ever like, "No, I don't want to do that," some people can make you feel bad, right? If you say no, but I mean, the key to life, the key to happiness is always to put yourself first.
But see, I never was doing that, and I really don't care what people think right now. If
Well, yeah,
I mean, what I'm saying, I put myself first. It's my family always gonna come first to a certain extent. You, Leilani, later, my dog. I gotta put the dog in there. Y'all always gonna be first. But sometimes I gotta leave y'all to the side and let y'all work out y'all issues, and let me just back up and you deal with your shit. Leilani deal with her shit. Or later deal with her stuff, cause it brings stress to me. Cause that's what I worry about is my family.
Yeah.
You know. But I really don't. I got to do something to get better because I'm not getting better. I feel myself on a downfall sometimes, and I turn to alcohol, and I don't want to do that, so I just stay away from it. I just stay away from stuff that I think gonna stress me out.
I know.
I love being around y'all.
Well, yeah.
But
I know for me it was a little hard because I don't want to like have you worry or feel bad. So I don't want to tell you when things are going wrong sometimes because I was like, oh, I don't want him to worry about it, or I don't want him to like stress over it when I could just do it myself, right? And then too with that is I also feel bad at times too. Like if you call me or if I you text me or something, I feel like I have to answer right then and there because if I don't, you're going to stress. Like, you're going to worry. You're going to be like, oh, what's wrong with Nika? Why is she not answering? And things like that. And at times that kind of puts a little pressure on myself because now I'm trying to set, boundaries. And boundaries is one of them is not always answering the phone call when you, mommy, or Leilani calls me. Because you are the only three, Joe included. I'll include my boyfriend in there too. But you three, you two, when I see a text message, a missed phone, or a phone call or anything, it's like, I gotta call them back right here, right now. Because I don't, and I know it's like, that goes more for like when you text me or when you call me because like I said, I don't want you to worry. I don't want you to feel bad. Not saying it's your fault that I'm not really good at setting boundaries.
Actually, you get that from me because that was my thing. If I call you or I text you, you don't text me back, I automatically.
Yeah, you
earlier,
used to say.
like we said earlier when we was at the house and you said you used to go out and get drunk, I used to text you.
Yeah, and I'd be like, oh my God, he's going to kill me because I am
yeah,
drunk out here with
but
friends.
see that's I think that's when my anxiety started. But I feel like now you grown. If I text you now, I know you got a lot of stuff going on, and I call you. I don't worry about it that much because I know you got things. You got your own home. You got to and stuff like that. So you got to cook. You got to clean. You got to do this. You got to do that. Before you live with us, you ain't got shit to do. Why you can't text me back? You ain't got nothing to worry about. Why you can't call me back? So that's one thing. You know, with your mama, I'm always gonna worry, and I mean that's a father thing, but I take worry to another
That extreme.
yeah to the extreme. I worry. Most people worry and think about it, then they sit back and it's gone. But nah, I take it and it stays.
I do want to ask you, because I was always curious, when you do that, like, say I don't answer, does your mind go straight to the worst?
Oh yeah.
Like, do you, like, not even try to, like, talk yourself out of it? Or you're just like...
Lately, I haven't been thinking that way, but yeah, before, like, when you was staying with us and you go out and stuff like that, yeah, my mind went straight to the worst. She done had a few drinks. I know you in Polly and Soho. Something done happened to you. You don't know how many times I don't want to get in my car. But even when your mom was working in Riverview, I know she was getting off at 5. If I call her and she ain't answer that phone or something like that, I'm off the chain.
You know, it's funny, not haha funny, but funny that happened to me too. Like, when I text you or call you guys and you don't answer, I was like... But, like, I think it was more when I was younger. Like, when I was home alone.
It was especially me because I always answer my phone. Your mama don't never answer her phone.
This is true. This is facts. She never answers the phone. And that's why I said when I was younger, that didn't click yet. That she never answered the phone. Like, she's just never around her phone. But now that I know that, it's okay, well, my mom's never on the phone, right? I don't put her as an emergency contact.
That's why Leilana got me as an emergency contact.
Or she calls me, like, have you talked to our parents? Because neither of them are asking. It's like, when you don't answer, I think that's when she freaks out. And she's
yeah, because I always answer my phone.
Yeah.
But lately, I've been coming home from work, letting it die, put it, whatever. I'm trying to stay away from it. Because, see, one thing with having depression, you take your phone, instead of coping with it or trying to deal with it, you take your phone and use that
using as a coping mechanism.
Yeah, I use that as a coping mechanism. So I'm trying to, I don't charge it during the day I work. When they get home, it's on 40%. I just let it die. And I do stuff. I want to meditate.
Yeah.
But I could do that on the computer. There's a lot of stuff I want to do, but anxiety is so controlling of me right now, and it's
like I told you before, right? So I'm gonna get a little into the mind, right? The ego and the subconscious enough. So I won't go too deep, but you know what I said before, like, you have this ego. Your ego is supposed to keep you safe. It's supposed to keep you feeling secure. It's your comfortable spot. So it's like your comfort box. You know, and the ego's not a bad thing. It's, like I said, it's what keeps you safe. But if you ever have something that, like, is affecting that safe spot, your ego is going to be like, nope, because I'm not familiar with this. I don't know what's going to happen after this. And that's probably why you're, like, hesitant with the meditation, right? Because your ego does not know what that is. They've never experienced that. Your ego's never experienced that.
True.
Yeah, and it's like, so your mind's basically like trying to protect you from, I don't know what's going to happen from this, and that's going to create that anxiety too, right? Because, so there's this book I'm reading called The 4 Agreements. I forgot the author's name, but it just basically tells you what the 4 agreements that you need in life. And one of the agreements is, and don't quote me, but it has to do with, like, assumptions and releasing don't have assumptions. So what that really means is, if someone invites you to go out, right? Maybe our cousins are like, oh, we're going here. And then you start playing the scenario game. Like, you are assuming this is going to happen, or this might happen, or that can happen. So you're having, like, these different scenarios created in your head. And then you're like, nope, anxiety, I'm done.
I already do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
do
that's
that,
like
yeah.
so
Yeah,
it's
you know,
the thing is like trying to cancel those. And I know everything is hard
Yeah,
to
it's
like
hard.
try.
You know,
change
like
that.
last night, your mama did that quinceanera.
Yeah,
And
quinceañera.
same thing. uh, and and she wanted me to go, but I know me. I was gonna get there and feel awkward. Then I was gonna turn to alcohol and make myself fit in, and that's what I'm trying to back away from.
So that's what
Yeah.
your ego's doing. That you're comfortable in that state. That makes you feel
Yeah.
okay. I'm gonna drink because that's going to make me feel like
that's going
to make me feel
good.
comfortable,
Yeah,
and
that's gonna make me feel comfortable.
and
make
that's
me
what
fit
I'm
in.
used to too.
Yeah.
So
And that's one reason I didn't go. I stayed home with the dogs and cooked hamburgers and hot dogs and French fries in the oven that was soggy. But yeah. Let me ask you this: what you think about? I know it's a long story. There's a lot going on. What you think about what's going on in the United States of America with
with like
the black people? And because that's a part of mental health for us.
oh for sure
You know.
yeah.
What you think? Let's talk about.
Well, first let me.
Go ahead.
I just want to say that I also want to put out there that it got so bad for me mentally that I've cut myself from all types of news.
Yeah.
Because it was getting that bad with what's happening and stuff. I'm not saying I'm trying to block it out, but I think, at the end of the day, you have to put yourself first, right? And it's great. It's a good thing to be knowledgeable of what's happening in the world, right? But at the same time, you have to think about your mind. You have to think about what you can handle. And I just could not handle, like, all the lockdown, the COVID things, and now that we're opening up all these shootings, and then on top of that, like, the racism that has to do with...
Yeah, just had another shooting like 3 hours ago in Austin, Texas. 3 people dead.
Yeah, the shootings and all that stuff is just, it's so ugly and dark, and I was like, I'm shutting off the news.
Yeah.
That's why I was really late to learn about most of the shootings, and unfortunately, the passing of...
I just think, and I'm not gonna get deep into it. I really, but I really think we not with the George Floyd incident. I think that showed us that the police force, and I'm not talking about all police. I'm not, because the police we do need, but some of them still think they're above and beyond the law. I think you holding this. If everybody thought it was 8 minutes and some seconds, but it was 9 minutes and 42 seconds. I think it was. He held it.
I mean, that's 9 minutes too long for me. You shouldn't have your knee
You
on
know,
someone's...
it's. I think the thing is you could put it on there, but you got to get it off after you control. After he's controlled. He was controlled for a long time, and he's just sitting in there. They showed a clip. He had his knee on his neck, and his foot was off the ground this much.
That means he had all the pressure.
And he had all the pressure on that man's neck. And he told me, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I want my mom. I saw the video once, and I couldn't watch it no more. Then all this other stuff, the young boy in Chicago, he dropped the gun, raised his hand, the police shot him. Then they came out, I think D.L. Euclid came out a video with the white man resisting arrest. He living. But I just think it's mind-boggling on how one group of people think they are better or more superior to another group
Just because of the way they look.
of people just because of the skin color. That's, You know, like you said earlier, people first thing a white person is gonna say, well, slavery happened a long time ago. Bullshit. Slavery's still going on. You got systemic racism, you got corporate racism, and anything else you want to put out there. You know, and it's damning to the black community.
Yeah, I
You
hate
know?
that excuse, right? Slavery happened such a long time
Yeah.
ago because, like, the police were created, at least in the South, were created to watch, to monitor the black people when they weren't slaves anymore.
Yeah.
You know, so everything that has been set from the past, like everything that's happened to black people in the past, you know, that is trickling down to now. And that starts with like how black people were put into poverty. That they were
Yeah.
put in the spaces that the white people didn't want.
Yeah.
They were like put I don't, not too much about it, but how they put the drugs into the black communities and the
community.
guns in the black communities to create that narrative that black people are scum and
Yeah.
white people are
Yeah.
not, you know, and that kind of thing. And even that still affects to this day because it's just a domino effect.
It is
Domino
a
effect.
yeah.
It's just-
And what did they say? Black on black crime. But I keep hearing that black on black crime, we always killing ourselves. But I went and researched. You Google any damn thing. I Google it. 80% of the white people that kill, 87% of the white people that's killed are killed by white people. 83% of the black people that's killed is killed by black people. So why then they say white on white crime? But it's for black on black crime, and they always gotta
Grasping
say,
at straws.
and they always say, well, you gotta look at what's going on in what's that Chicago, always killings and stuff in Chicago. That's another thing. That's one reason I'm on Facebook. I deal with on Twitter, Instagram a little bit, but I'm gonna say this. Then I'm gonna ask. We're gonna go to another stuff. I'm gonna say this. Black people is out for justice. We don't want revenge yet. Because it's so much that we could take.
right.
It's so much,
wanna
you're
feel
going
equal.
to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And then after a while, we going to say, hey, we're going to start pushing back. We're going to start pushing back. And,
So let me ask you before we go on, what do you think about reverse racism?
wow, damn, I wasn't expecting that one. I don't know. I never thought about it, actually.
So here's my take on it. So if you look up the word, like what racism stands for, I mean, I don't know it verbatim, but it stems from, like that race is feeling superior. Like racism is based off of like, oh, okay, you're like lower than me because you're inferior to me.
Yeah.
I'm superior to you. From what I see, there's no way for you to be racist towards a white person.
Now,
They're
black
already
people-
at the top,
Yeah,
right?
but
Then
yeah.
you have black people just want to feel equal. They just want to be
That's
like, hey,
it.
listen, all I want is I just want you to realize what you've done to our past, to our ancestors, to everything.
And
Acknowledge it.
that.
Just
Yeah,
acknowledge that.
and
then
give us-
try to change.
And try to change. Whether it's by changing the laws, that'll stop. That'll help. Changing the law. Lynching's still on the books.
I did not know this.
It was. I don't know whether it's still in the books or not, but back when we first started voting, and I don't quote me. I'm like you, don't quote me. But when a black man voted, a black man was considered 1/3 of a man. So I don't know where I've been changed, but let's start with something. To help us out. Then we could talk about reparations. The Jews got it. Why can't we get it?
There's also I don't know all the details to it, but there was something that happened in America with Asians, and they got reparations from it too. But I can't remember. But that's for me. I mean, Germany did it. Germany teaches their generations now that the Holocaust was bad. we done fucked up, and we're acknowledging it, and we're trying to work past that. But I just feel like America's just full of pride. I mean, this country was ran literally on pride. Like, from the pilgrims that came and was like, okay, we're coming, we're taking this. It's just...
I know it's been a while. You know, you a big sports fan, Tampa Bay fan. How did you feel? I know it's been a couple of months. I think I did one podcast since we won the Super Bowl. How did you feel that moment?
When we won the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't think I had a single thought. I was just running on adrenaline, like, wow. We won the Super Bowl.
Guru, how did you feel?
I couldn't believe it. I never thought I would see that in my lifetime. Again. So I already saw it once.
Yeah.
Again, as an adult. Like, because it was so far-fetched before this Cinderella year. You know what I'm saying? And with me and you and Julio, all of us, Nika too, we was crying. And
I was feeling it.
Yeah, tears of joy. You know, I had to go to work the next morning, so I had to maneuver my way through all these people going down Tampa Bay, girls out there flashing.
Yeah, we went out there to Ybor. It was a mess.
Yeah, I know, but it was a joy time because I think the city of Tampa, the whole Tampa Bay area
I think that's
needed that.
what I like. I love this city so much, right? This is
Yeah.
the city that raised me, the city I love, and to see a momentum, like to have the Rays go to the World Series, to have the Lightning win the Stanley Cup, and for us to go to the Super Bowl and win in our hometown, it's like, I'm so proud.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, when I travel a lot, you know, so when I leave Florida and they're like, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Tampa. Where's that at? Or what's that? Or, like, I remember I was listening to this one podcast I really like, and he goes, Tampa has a sports team?
Wow.
And, like...
just plain disrespect.
Yeah, so having this moment, right? Even though now a bunch of people are moving to Tampa, and I'm like, stop. But it's just like putting us on the map. I'm so proud and able to go out there and be like, now you know where Tampa is.
Yeah,
now you know we got sports.
I mean, I've always been proud to be living in. I've been here basically 34, 35, probably 40 years. I've been living in Tampa. I love it. You know, I call Tampa Bay area my home. You know, and I love it. I love the people, good family, good friends. You know, beaches which I don't go to. You know.
Yeah, I tell people I'm from Florida, and they're like, "How many times you go to the beach?" I'm like, "Oh, I haven't been to the beach in a couple of years."
I haven't been to the beach in a
So
minute.
keep it known when you see these pictures of Clearwater Beach packed, it's not Tampanians.
You know, and I love being around water because it's soothing.
Oh, I love water.
It's calming for me, but.
But why? What was you were just asking, like, how we felt when the Super Bowl?
Yeah, just how you felt when the Bucks won. I know we were together. I know I woke up the next morning. I couldn't talk.
Same.
Like I said, I had to get up 4:30 and go to work, but I didn't care. You know, but we were Super Bowl champion. You know, hey, I loved it, man. I loved it. Miss Nika, it was a pleasure. I hope this is the first of many that we could sit down and have this conversation. Maybe we should get your sister involved in this.
Then it's going to be 2 hours long.
I know, right? That's why we can't do your sister and mom at the same time.
No.
But it was nice. Thank you for your input.
Yeah.
And like I said, I hope it's the first of many. And again, Big Mike, Claude, Guru, hey, much love to these kings, man, in the 813. They're doing what they're supposed to do. You know, love them to death. And I love you.
Well, thank you for letting me.
This is
I guess.
It's About Time podcast, and I love y'all. Good night. Good day.
Okay.